Close your eyes.
A little... Go and play!
Perhaps these treasures might be of utility to you on your journey. Please, I insist. Be silent. Observe.
Any leads?
Nope. Diddly squat. No clues to where he might be hiding. It's like he's a ghost. It feels like we're sitting on a powder keg that could go off at any second. Oh, I hate this.
So, you guys didn't find anything either?
Not loving the word either. How about...
I questioned a few Ratniki and eventually narrowed my investigation down to one almost as if he knew someone was on to him. Either that...
He's been biding his time for a while now.
No idea. Since regaining his body, he seems to have lost all interest in the fragment in my possession.
All we can do now is hope that Aino and Anefa turn up some leads. Wait, he's actually here? I didn't mean it! I swear!
No. It's Silver Moon Hall. The Lady Kutar might be in danger.
Let's get over there! Quick!
Kutar!
Why is he attacking the damsel elect? What's going on?
No time for questions. Stop him!
This is insane.
Yehuda, get Kutar out of here!
On it.
Look where your feeble light has gotten you. Now you shall plunge into darkness. Thalindus, soon I will find a way.
Watch out!
too close.
We barely made it out of there alive. What's that guy's deal? How'd he get so crazy strong?
He's a threat to this entire nation. I doubt his strength could even be measured by conventional standards.
I have a question. When me and Anefa showed up, we saw him chasing after this lady like he wanted her dead. What was that all about? We weren't there for the whole thing either.
Yeah, we didn't see how it all started. It all escalated so quickly.
Kutar, can you shed any light on the situation?
Kutar. Cross-checking database. I see. So you're the one that the Frost Moon Scions refer to as the Moon Goddess?
Wait, she's the moon goddess? Oh, no wonder she looks just like all those statues.
There are many reasons why people might worship the moon, and just as many why they might despise it. I've never met that person before, but there was no mistaking his deep-seated hostility towards me. Why he holds me in such contempt, I cannot say. But since he hunts the power of the moon, it's no surprise that I am a target.
Kutar.
There are many potential motives. For instance, you help the traveler escape his grasp. It is also possible that he covets the Kuvaki inside you and seeks to take it for his own, but right now, devising a counter-strategy should be our #1 priority. The likelihood of this location being discovered is close.
A counter-strategy? But we don't stand a chance against an enemy like this. Surely our only option is to run. He's not gonna chase us to the end of the world, right? No, I can't say that. Come on, Yehoda, this...
Running is our only option.
Huh?
You seem surprised. But what other choice do we have?
Well, I mean...
It's not too late. I can distract him, so you have plenty of time to make...
Wait, what?
Doesn't that make sense? I'm the one A coyote doesn't stop for bypassers while it... What is it, Lum? The Frost Moon Scions have already grown accustomed to life without their goddess. My presence here is no longer essential, and this is not my home, so you needn't ask me to stay.
We can't just roll over and let him get away with this. That's not...
Yeah. We can't just call it quits after... Besides, she'd pretty much saved my life back there. If I just ditched her now, I'd never forgive...
We can't overlook that you have saved our lives multiple times now. To talk of returning the favor would be a little crass for my liking. But suffice to say that we are friends.
Rerir's true objective remains unclear. Even if we were to sacrifice Miss Kutar, there's no guarantee he would stop.
But...
Kutar, I know why you left the Frost Moon Scions so long ago. It was because people started treating prayer as a form of trade. They would make self-centered wishes, force you to accept meaningless offerings in return, and then expect you to perform miracles for them. As if it were me, I might have walked away too. But I believe that time can change everything, and that sometimes it takes losing something precious. After much reflection, I've realized that this was never about whether the Frost Moon Scions need you. Any relationship based on need is purely transactional. What I truly hope is that you'll choose to stay, not out of obligation. You were born here, and now you've returned.
Thank you, Lauma. But my power is on the wane. I'm afraid I will be of little use to you now. Very well then.
Both times you saved us, we were transported across great distances.
It is, but I find it very draining. I barely managed to pull it off just now. Rejected by the world, my power is dwindling. Like a lake cut off from its source, slowly shrinking away.
What do you mean, rejected by the world?
The 3 moons belonged to the ancient bygone era in which they came into being. From the moment I was born, the world itself has been steadily sapping away at my strength. 3 moons are not one and the same. As the goddess of the frost moon, I cannot wait, yet moonlight has a way of blending together. Each can reflect the other's glow. So when our fingers touched, I was able to, but this method of recovery is painfully slow. If only we could find the...
It's the Wild Hunt!
Even faster than we expected. We'll
See how those Wild Hunt creatures are running away from us.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's get...
With one heart, we pray. Luscious and meat.
They just keep coming! This is driving me nuts!
Rerir's closing in on us. We need to pick up the pace.
There's too many of them! And this time, we can't fall back on Guitar's house to escape. This goes on much longer.
Close your eyes. Observe to dust.
With one heart, we pray.
The night comes.
Rainbow!
Ultimatum protocol.
For the everlasting forest.
Close your eyes. Be silent.
Kingdom Bomb!
The long sleep beckons.
By the frost moon of all.
Annihilation mode. Defensive mode engaged.
Let's attack! You on this!
With one heart, we pray.
Ultimatum protocol.
The rainbow!
What's the matter? Bit off more than you could chew?
Uncle Varka! You're back from Amsvartnir? Whoa! You're Varka? Grand Master of the Knights of Favot?
We could save the intros for later. Right now, let's get you all out of this.
Oh, is that where I...
That's the one. Come on, move! There's no time.
Wow! Where are we? This is so...
Well, that goes without saying. This is the Knights of Favonius' meeting place in Nod-Krai, aka the Black Market of Intel. No matter what faction you're with, it's the place to buy and sell information. As an expeditionary force on foreign soil, working with them has offered us the most effective way of getting our... Anyway, where were we? Folks from Nod-Krai should be pretty familiar with me by now. But I believe this is the first time we've met. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Varka, Knight of Boreas, and Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius.
We've heard all about you. You look way younger than Paimon expected. But you definitely have that grand...
Well, I'm no spring chicken. Just not showing my age yet. Definitely feeling some of that back pain today, though. Rushed back from Amsvartnir without a wink of sleep, only to get right into another fight with that freshly revived maniac.
Another?
Yep. He wasn't nearly as strong back then, but he was still a formidable foe. I brought some of the knights along. My squad took heavy injuries, and I barely made it out alive myself. We knew it might have been our last chance, so we staked everything on it. But still, it wasn't enough to stop. I tried tracking him down afterwards, but he didn't leave a trace. Even in his unhinged mental state, he's as cautious as any. So, I decided to come find you. And as luck would have it, turned up to find you being ambushed by the Wild Hunt.
Is that why he's been frantically absorbing Kuvaki?
Maybe I'm part of the equation, but even if I weren't, I'm sure he'd still be gathering power.
Note to self, Uncle Varka's strength rating officially upgraded.
Guess it's my turn to ask questions now. So, what exactly—
That's a long story, but I'll try to make it quick.
Wow, I had no idea so much had happened. Sounds like you guys have really been through it. So, the Kutar is actually a Fatui Harbinger. And all this Wild Hunt activity in Nod-Krai is the work of the Rerir of Solnari, one of the 5 sinners. Oh, that's a lot to take in. Need some time to wrap my head around it all.
I'm truly sorry, Miss. You stood with us against the Wild Hunt and did everything you could to stop it from escalating into a full-blown catastrophe. And then—
You've got nothing to apologize for, Miss Moonchanter. You can plan 100 steps ahead and still slip up. That's just life. No one knows what tomorrow holds. And, to be perfectly honest, I can't say I'm surprised. For all the times we've defeated the Wild Hunt in the past, we've never been able to completely wipe it out. But now that a new variable has come into play—
A new variable?
Who else? And in a strange way, I think his resurgence might not be an entirely bad thing. The Wild Hunt is like an unrelenting force of nature, but Rerir is an individual with an agenda. That said, while I know I was explaining everything just now—
You mean about our mystery app?
That's right. From what you've said, not only did they lead you straight to some key files, they also shielded Hisi Island from a lethal Kuvaki blast. I don't know who or what could pull something like that off. Heck, even Miss Columbina doesn't have a clue.
I hadn't heard the story about those files. Would you mind repeating their titles for me?
Wild Hunt Phenomena Log, a Nod-Krai and Ratnik's field journal.
Oh,
Another dead end. Guess all we can do— Still, it's safest to assume they won't be intervening again. From here on, your intel also explains something else I've been wondering about. The reason I led my team to Amsfarnir was because we'd had but once we looked into it, it turned out to be a red herring. I don't know who was behind— I doubt it's by chance that he happened to make his comeback while my attention was diverted. And from everything you told me, it sounds like his scheming began well before his return. So maybe luring— But is it even possible that he works— The Moon Maiden and the Rerir of Solnari, in Nod-Krai of all places. The way everything is unfolding, it can't be a coincidence.
So,
Right now, we've got at least 3 things to consider. Let's go through them one by one. First, we need to figure out how to take down Rerir. If we can't beat him in a straight-up fight, the rest won't even matter. To my knowledge, the bulk of Nod-Krai's fighting force is already gathered here. But even with everyone united, we're still no match for Rerir in his current state, let alone with his power still growing.
what if there was a way to tap into a new power?
How so?
Have you thought of something, Columbina?
3 moons once watched over this world. The Eternal Moon was the largest. The Frost Moon was the brightest. And the Iridescent Moon was the most mysterious. They say that back then, the 3 moon goddesses wielded immense power. Enough to shape the workings of the world itself. I now bear the Frost Moon's power, and the Eternal Moon's marrow resides within the Traveler.
Hold on. Are you suggesting—
The iridescent moon, the last piece in the puzzle.
That's right. If we can find the Iridescent Moon's marrow, I will be able to regain my strength much more quickly.
the 3 moons are said to stir the tides and illuminate all things? Perhaps they—
According to my analysis, the solution is feasible. However, it is subject to one major condition.
I know a way, but we will need to visit.
The Experimental Design Bureau?
Yes,
It's a long way from here to the Experimental Design Bureau. There's a high chance you'll be spotted. You should—
Then that's settled. Next up, our second priority. Somehow, we need to figure out Rerir's end goal. As you saw for yourselves, When he was still in his wild hunt form, everything he did was for the sake of recovering his body and resurrecting himself. His first act since then, after laying low for a while, was to try and assassinate this young lady. People's obsessions often reveal their greatest vulnerabilities. There must be a reason why he despises the moon so deeply. Perhaps it sheds some light on his title, the Rerir of Solnari. The Wild Hunt has plagued Nod-Krai for centuries now. If we want to stop it for good—
It's true. We still... If Kuthar hadn't given us that lead, we wouldn't even know his...
But where would we even start? I doubt even the Intel Queen of Nod-Krai has a clue, and she has info coming out of her ears.
Oh? That's a rather hasty conclusion for someone who's so painstakingly meticulous when it comes to dealing with machine.
Ah, she heard me.
Boss! What are you doing here?
I'm now asking myself the same question. I received a letter from a humble knight of Favonius, requesting a meeting to discuss a major business deal. But...
Details. Since his failed ambush, I've been racking my brains trying to come up with a plan to fight Rerir. Given the severity of the situation, we can't do this without the Curatorium. But I knew it'd be a tough job to win you over.
Listen! How did you even hear about this place, Nefer? Didn't you say this is meant to be the Knights of Favonius' meeting spot? And a contact hub for the Northern Intelligence Network? And isn't this a...
You really think he could have gotten settled in Nod-Krai without my help? Besides, I'm the one running this gig. Of course I know where the meeting place is.
Allow me to introduce the current head of the Northern Intelligence Network. If it's intel you're after, she's your woman. Pretty much seen and heard it all.
Please spare me the flattery. Let's cut to the chase. Well, this certainly qualifies as an unforeseen crisis.
So you're just going to sit...
Why should I get involved?
What if we told you?
Oh? Then I'd say...
I can't put a price on something like this. It's just not in my nature. But then again, if you insist on compensation, I will pay you. Consider this up.
You just don't give up, do you? Too bad. I know you well enough to know you can't afford my prices. The riskier the job, the more it'll cost. And a Moonchanter's stipend isn't exactly generous. Unless you're planning to start passing the donation box around among the faithful.
Boss, just a thought. If they come up short, maybe you can take the difference. Things got really dangerous during the fight with Rerir. If this girl hadn't saved me, I'd be ley line fodder by now. I'd be gone for If there's any way we can make this work.
This is why I'm always telling you never accept favors. You have to be careful who you get involved with, or you invite all kinds of misfortune. Very well. Yehoda, I will help. But just this once. Don't flinch. That fragment that Rerir was after.
Of course.
Let me borrow it. I need it to...
Wait! You actually...
Shh. This is top secret information.
I get it. We all have things we'd rather keep to ourselves. Plus, and that brings me to the third and final item. We need to find a way to distract him. We need time to make our move, so someone will have to stall him. I'm in for this part.
Count me in.
Come off it, you two! I'm way ahead of you here. And Nefa did a scan of the Moon Goddess's Kuvaki signature, and we're gonna use it to make some decoys over at the Krumkake craft shop. Anyone who's in? Once they're ready, we'll deploy the decoys across Nod-Krai. So as long as the rest of you keep moving, he won't catch on to your scent and
I like it. Genius idea.
No biggie.
All right then, we'll split it. Once your team has finished their mission, return here and wait for...
Lady Damselette. Wait. And you two? We've been doing our best to mind our own business lately. But if you're just gonna waltz up here like this...
You really think...
We're not looking for any trouble.
Do I need to remind you that you're still out of consideration for our former ties and the crisis we're all up?
Let them in.
But...
Are you going to make me...
No.
Sandrone seems to be in a good mood.
So tell me, to what do I owe the honor this actually before you answer that? Just so we're clear.
I promise it's nothing.
It seems like you've gotten the wrong idea here. The only reason I let you in was because I was bored. It seemed like a way to kill some time and whatever miscalculations I may or may not have made in the past, I haven't lost the plot enough to even consider.
I'd like to speak with Arlecchino.
What?
Huh? You mean the Nick?
I'd like to speak with Arlecchino.
No, she's not. Once the work on this facility was completed, she went back with the Rooster and Rerir. The only ones in Nod-Krai are me and... What is it you need to speak to her about?
Rerir is hunting me. If I'm going to face him, I must first retrieve the lost moon. Is that a no, then?
As if I need reminding. I was this close to settling things with him before someone decided to whisk me away to their weird little garden.
Have you held any tea parties lately?
Tea parties? Yeah, obviously. You don't seriously think we'd pack it all in just because you aren't here. If anything, they've been more eventful than ever. Just me, Arlecchino, and a bunch of insolent, insensitive guests who won't stop asking where you've gone. Oh, they've been a real...
I bet you served them the worst tea you have. Just like you used to do to me when I upset you.
Who cares about how good the tea is when there's no one around to drink it? I keep losing people. First Rosaline, now you. I'm running out of people who can make me laugh. Honestly, what could be more ridiculous than the multi-centenarian goddess, who's only ever had the plain herbal tea she received as offerings?
You'd always brew a different type of tea for me each time. Was it really...
Well, duh. Why else? Watching you squirm was practically my only... Oh, yeah. And Capitano sometimes used to bring Tartaglia around, too. But I guess we won't be seeing him again. Well, I guess we are overdue for a get-together. Have Favronia pass a message to Arlecchino for me. It's time for tea. Will suffice.
Pass along a message for me, too, if you would. My body cannot contain the marrow of 2 moons, so I'll be leaving one of them in her care.
Excuse me? Who said you were on the guest list? If my tea meant that much to you, maybe quitting the Fatui wasn't your brightest move. Back when you were under the Tsaritsa's protection, no one would have dared come at you.
But that protection didn't come for free. In fact, I paid dearly for it. At the end of the day, it was just another transaction. I just got tired, that's all. I never wanted any part in their grand ambitions, and I've had enough of being treated like a bottomless supply of power. It brings back memories from the old days, when I was still worshipped as the moon goddess. Centuries on, it may be a different group of people, but I see the same greed in their eyes.
I figured you'd leave eventually. You didn't have as much of a reason to stay as the Tsaritsa gave you shelter and protection, but that was it. Nothing more, nothing less. Meanwhile, the Fatui demanded everything from you in return. I get why you left. And
Frankly, I have no interest in dragging you back just because the high. But if you keep hanging around with this riffraff, the next time we cross paths, we might be enemies for. Guess that's our cue to leave. That might be your plan, but it sounds like some. Huh? Listen.
My lady, it's the Wild Hunt. A horde of.
Another uninvited guest trying to crash my tea party. Clear the area. I'll handle this. Wait, what? You want us to leave you here by yourself? You'll be lucky to make it out of this alive. Go on, get out of here. You may have stopped Polonia from crushing him last time, but I've made sure that won't happen again. The entire Experimental Design Bureau is rigged for war. Stay and watch if you want, but it'll be at your own risk. You're not flagged as friendlies in the weapons system. Don't tell me what to do! Look, if you're leaving, make it quick. Or you'll just get in my way. There's a secret passage on the second floor. Stare all you want, Columbina. You're not—
I know.
This is exactly why you shouldn't hang around with those people. All their melodrama and sentimental nonsense is rubbing off. Come on then, Mr. Rerir. Let's pick up where it's your Wild Hunt monstrosities versus my beautiful creations. Polonia, get him!
I've upgraded Polonia again since our last encounter, and uploaded every last scrap of your data. So let's finish this, once and for all.
She's not here. Where did she go?
Hey! Over here, you big—
Curse it. Moon. Go. Keep searching. She cannot have...
So this is your method for investigating Rerir's past?
Good deduction. But it's quite a different affair from what you're used to with the Frost Moon Scions.
Whoa! First time I've ever been in here. Boss always said it was off limits, so I pictured some kind of creepy. Oh, I guess this must be Sumero decor?
I'm not sure exactly what you've got planned.
Whenever we wish. But for some, I've never faced Rerir myself. But I, on the other hand, am just an ordinary businesswoman.
If you ask me, you're about as far from ordinary as it gets. So what are you saying? You're getting cold feet?
Once I take a job, there's no backing out. Still, I have to ask myself if the power I'm relying on will even work, and also how to make sure I come out of this alive. Death is the one thing we can take for granted. It is the great equalizer, however fortunate or unfortunate we may otherwise be. So
Come on, boss. Lighten up. Quit talking about death. It's...
For once, I agree with you. When you're up against a foe like Rerir, there's no such thing as being too prepared. Is there anything I can do to help?
that won't be necessary. I've already made up my mind. Time to cash in a precious favor I've been saving for a rainy day. Yehoda, I need you to find someone for me.
Eh?
That shady merchant who sold you an overpriced treasure compass the other day.
Come on, boss. You're pulling my leg again. In what way is she shady? She showed up when I was completely lost and sold me a... Anyway, I know who you're talking about. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Stop grabbing me! I genuinely can't run any further!
Hey, aren't you?
What is it? What's the big rush? You dragged me out of a dream where I was literally swimming in Mora. I'm charging double my usual attendance fee. See, look how easygoing she is. After that rude awakening, she could have completely snapped at us. But instead, she kept it together and just asked for an extra fee.
Dori Sangama Bay? I never would have pictured you two doing business together.
If you want to make it big in Nod-Krai, it's all about connections. Lady Nefer just so happens to have a lot of intel that interests me. And she also did me a big favor. It was back when I first arrived in Nod-Krai. My trusty assistant, and wouldn't you know it, that's when I suddenly find myself in a life-or-death situation. Good thing my compatriot was there to swoop in. I've been giving her a 30% discount off all of my goods ever since. Now, so that no one here feels left out, I'm willing to extend a 20% discount to fellow friends of Boss Nefer. Plus, any other friends you send my way will enjoy 10% off. What can I say? The great Lord Sangama Bay is nothing. So, let me guess. You've run into some trouble. I've got everything you could possibly need, and the more you buy, the...
You guessed correctly. What have you got in the way of...
The one type of gear I've never been short on. What are you looking for? A jetpack fresh from the Academia's labs? An ancient suit of armor, dredged up from the bottom of the sea? At the very least, I need to know what kind of opponent you're dealing with here. If even you're worried about staying alive, it must be pretty...
What if I told you it's someone with the power to bring a nation to its...
Is that so? Then we really are talking top-shelf treasures.
You're
A powerful woman, make no mistake. I can't reveal her identity, but luckily for you, I hear she's planning to visit Nod-Krai in the near future. If you're willing to wait, I can ask her when she's here. Can't say exactly how long.
Then let me put it another way. What would you do if you encountered an enemy like that? Roll over and...
Of course not! I have a handy little trinket from one of my generous suppliers, which... Hold on. What exactly are you getting at? No.
Let's just say I'm borrowing it, all right? Favors are the worst kind of debt to owe, and now you...
Fine. You can borrow it for 5 days. No, make that 3. And for every extra hour after that, I'm charging you 1,000,000 more. Deal?
Deal.
What a way to start the day. Now, was there anything else you wanted? Or can I go back to bed now?
That will be all. Take care now. Don't trip up on your way back, friend.
See you later! You're my favorite shop.
Excellent. Everything is well and truly ready. After initiating the ceremony, your minds will follow me wherever I go. You will see many strange things in your mind's eye. So remember, don't... Now then, let us peer into the Rerir of Solnari's past. I made it. I don't recognize this style of architecture. Must be Conrian. Simple furnishings, table and chairs. Looks like the fearsome Rerir of Solnari came from unless this passed for luxury in Conria. Unlikely. Anyway.
Hi, Rerir. Since you're working extra hours tonight, I thought I'd keep myself busy by checking out that new kebab shop. I'll test it out, and if it's as good as everyone's saying... P.S. New stash from the Universitas Magistrorum. I brought some goodies home. A few teacups and a...
They didn't sign their name, but they must...
I went over to Joseph's for drinks today. They have a fine collection, but I went alone. Felindis was tied up with something and couldn't make it. Joseph asked why I came alone, but I didn't really have an answer. He then went on to ask about other things. If you ask me, someone who asks that many personal questions is too new. But if he invites me again...
Felindis. That's the same name Rerir mentioned.
Grain imports keep falling. If things don't pick up, we'll soon be back to meat and mushroom. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that new type of mushroom everyone's been into lately. Didn't it start out as a lab-grown variety? I heard it's even mildly corrosive. I don't care if it's an impressive feat of alchemy. That just isn't the...
Grain has to be imported, and they're eating a diet of mostly meat and mushrooms. Could it be because that would explain why they use so much... They even use alchemically modified strains for food.
I've just about saved up enough now. Time to...
Making a big purchase. He really is a professional. Despite what he's become, it seems like he's Did Rerir rip it out?
Before I met you, I was convinced that the burial place of a fallen moon, a withered wind, it was you who helped me see that my heart...
This is just trivial sentimentality from the looks of it. The burial place...
Rerir! Oh.
Dane! Oh, and, Vediflin here? What a surprise to see you here, sir.
Hello there, Rerir. You need not address me so formally outside of court.
He doesn't get that much free time, so I invited him over for a drink. Even the court prophet deserves a break every...
Well, so... What...
Hey, don't look at me.
Come on, don't give us that. Didn't you...
Who'd have thought the great Twilight Sword?
I just didn't expect you to be the first one to settle down and get married, that's all.
Yeah. If you told me that a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed...
So, are you planning to come clean about your job then? I'm guessing you still haven't told...
Sure, I'll have to tell her at some point. But I'll need to pick the...
Come on, stop being such a pessimist. For all you know, she could be thrilled. I bet she'll be much more impressed by your actual job than the one she thinks you're doing now. A member of the King's Guard. Quite the cover story. Does the king himself even know?
Of course he does. Anyway, enough about me.
Me? Same old, nothing much to... Huh? What's up, Ved?
It's nothing.
Vediflin, Dainsleif's elder brother. Renowned throughout the court of Conria as the Visionary. And said to possess a wisdom far beyond the reach of any ordinary man. And yet, despite the gulf between us, he seems to have some... Does he even know me? Does he see me as a friend of his... Why did he react so strongly?
Brown, curly hair and brooding blue eye. Perfectly normal. As frightening as this monster is in the present.
Felindis? You're back early?
Our equipment's being serviced today, so I got off earlier. Aw, why the long face? Is something the matter?
Went for a drink with Dane.
Isn't that a good...
Vediflin showed up today, too.
Ah, Mr. Vediflin. Yes, I've heard of him. They say...
He overheard Dainsleif mention that I'd recently proposed, and seemed to have an issue.
So, you're worried? We're nobodies. Why would the Vision... I'm sure someone in his position... You worry too much, Rerir. We've been together for ages now, and everything's been...
So, you do...
Like I said, I need some time to decide. You can't just rush into things like this.
All right. Take your time. Nobodies. Can someone whose gaze is so fixed on a far-flung future even see the present clearly? Besides, meanwhile, every idea they come up with and every decision they make, it affects everything. These days, the king is lost in his research, and the purge of the Crimson Moon bloodline grows ever more intense. The opposition tried to speak out, but nothing came of it. A man can have 1,000 reasons to carry a sword, but there are few good excuses to use it. Yet what becomes of someone who kills on another's behalf? Thelindis. It's nothing. You were right. Fate has never smiled upon nobodies like us. But by the same token, it's unlikely to bear a grudge against us. There's no reason we can't keep living happily together, cherishing the simple joys of each.
See? You just need to stay. I can feel your warmth, your breath. Just seeing you makes me happy in a way I can't explain. And that's something that no one could ever take away from me. So smile, my love. That's better. Getting caught up about things like this will only ruin our evening. Speak.
You go ahead. I just have a few things to tell.
Even busier than the big shots, huh? Fine, I'll go get started.
Relax. Seriously, though, you drive a hard bargain. You're really gonna leave my proposal hanging and still expect—
Well, that goes without saying. I already told everyone I'd be coming with a dance. Besides, they're two completely different things. Let's take it one—
All right. White outfit.
It seems like Rerir was deliberately hiding his ties to the intelligence services. He clearly doesn't want his would-be fiancé to know about his other life. Who'd have thought we were in— Let's dig a little.
Our last operation was a resounding success, and all thanks to you, Rerir of Solnari. In total, we apprehended 32 dregs of the—
After all these years since the dynasty's fall.
Indeed, it cannot be denied. Yet it was destiny that the Crimson Moon should be overcome by the eclipse, and that His Majesty, the all-seeing Vinster King, now guides our— Khaenri'ah has no further need for a dead moon. But alas, there will always be those who refuse to see the truth, choosing instead to—
That's not entirely true. Much about the Crimson Moon era was worthy of remembrance. Many of its secrets remain unsolved to this day. As it
You still haven't told her what you really do for—
Where would I even start? How do you tell someone that you're one of the king's hand-picked executioners? That your hand—
You didn't choose this life, any more than I did.
But I'll sure as heck be the one to pay for it. Speaking of which, we need to be more rigorous in the way we identify direct descendants of the Crimson. Someone, it seems, has strong opinions about my future plans. Most likely my marriage in particular.
Your concerns are not unfounded. They've taken out many of our colleagues these past few years, and for that very reason. These are no helpless lambs we're leading to the slaughter. They're wolves. Take care, Rerir of Sol—
Thanks, Thorkel. Thelindis, I never wanted to keep this from you. You're the last person I would ever want to lie to. But that's exactly why I can't tell you everything. The moonlit dynasties are a thing of the past. Yet even now, with the sun shining high in the sky, could that be why Vedalfnir held back? I have to get a clear answer from him.
Rerir seems to be very concerned. Vedalfnir and Dainsleif, the Visionary and Twilight Sword. So that's what they were really like. I've investigated this whole area now. Should I try somewhere?
So, he's late after all. Just—
Are you waiting for someone, ma'am?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. But
For someone's—
I'm only telling the truth. Look me in the eyes. May we have a word in
Who are you?
And it doesn't matter who I am. Too many of our kind have fallen lately. Not long ago, the Rerir of Solnari led an assault on one of our strongholds. We suffered many casualties, and many who—
Sorry, I don't know why you're telling me this.
Wait, hear me out. This time we finally got— His name is Rerir. And he—
What did you—
A cruel irony, isn't it? The man you're set to marry leads a double life as a brutal executioner.
but sure. Why are you simple?
How strange. Rerir was nowhere to be seen in that memory. Rerir couldn't possibly know what happened if he wasn't even... Why would her memories appear in his fragment? The ceremony won't last much longer.
So that was your doing? Did you just pull us inside Rerir's fragment to spy directly on his memories?
Any more questions, and I'll have to
I had no idea you could do that, boss! Seriously, that was amazing! I gotta admit though, I'm itching to see what happens next. Feels like we barely...
I'm just as curious as you are. But the ceremony only allowed... Luckily, we managed to...
So far, so good. I just hope the others are doing okay too. Especially the group with the Traveler. Their mission is a risky one.
If you're worried about them, go see how they're doing.
If I know boss, she's gonna need some time to write up all the details and make sure it's all coherent. I'll stay behind to lend a hand, but feel
Oh, they've been prowling around for nearly 2 days now. These things just won't... Oh, they might not have seen us yet, but them constantly sweeping the area? Or what? Oh, that's never gonna work. If they spot us, they'll run straight back to Rerir. And once he knows we're here, it won't be long before he's breathing down our necks again. Oh, guess you're right. Quick, hide! We almost got spotted! Phew! That was a close call. Watch out! He's coming this way! Keep going. We're nearly there. This is the final hurdle. Oh, there's no end to these things.
Fire.
Fire? Wait, what's that smell? Oh no, there's a fire!
Sandrone was right. You look weak, Columbina. The old you would never have let such lowly creatures bar your way. Word has it that you did something for the Tsaritsa, and that's why you've lost most of your power. Freedom comes at a heavy price.
It's Arlequin!
Hello again, Columbina. And greetings, guests of the House of the Hearth.
It's been a while.
Stupid Rerir of stupid Solnari. Ugh, whatever!
Whatever! I've got all the data I need. Next time we meet, you're finished. He sure doesn't pull his punches.
Excuse me, do you need a hand?
You can do me a favor by staying out of my way. Can't you see I'm busy? Wait a minute. I recognize that voice.
Hello, Miss Sandrone. Father sent us over to help.
How considerate of her. Hey, Fremine, get over here and help me fix this. Lenny, you do your thing. Just keep your sister away from my machines. Nearly every machine that cat girl touches ends up going haywire. Go put her on cleaning duty or something.
Then let's start downstairs.
You've got it.
Wait a second. Pretty sure there's still some tea in the cupboard. If you want some, you'll have to make it yourself.
Observe. Close your eyes. Bow your head.
Off to the freezer! The pinnacle of excellence! Ha! Wait, hear me!
Silence! The tides beckon. Bow your head.
A little moose.
Be silent.
Go as planned!
Observe.
Off to the freezer!
Beware the creatures of the night. Be silent. Goodness, how the world has changed. Might I ask, when did the custom of placing treasure chests in every nook and cranny come into fashion? Close your eyes.
It's a relief to see you all made it back in one piece.
Huh? Feels like there's quite a few people missing.
I returned ahead of them. Flint is helping Aino and Anefa to set up the decoys and buy us some time.
Boss is still wrapping things up on her end. She sent us back to fill you all in.
I see. Then but first, who do we have here?
Greetings. I was invited here to help as a longtime Tea Party companion of Columbina's. You may call me Arlecchino.
Surely it can't be.
Those eyes. Oh, where have I seen them before? Wait, of course. In those memories we just...
The only Arlecchino I know is the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers. So either you share a pretty uncommon name, or you're...
You're well informed, Grandmaster. A man from Mondstadt living all the way out here in Nod-Krai, and yet the people and affairs of Snezhnaya seem to hold a...
Oh, the feeling's mutual.
A Fatui harbinger.
The atmosphere in here just got really tense. Guess we can't just start trusting.
I must admit, though, I'm a little curious. Seeing as the moon goddess no longer belongs to the Fatui, what makes you...
Nor does Nod-Krai belong to Mondstadt, Mr. Varka. Yet still, things don't always have to have a tangible payoff. Sometimes, stopping things from spiraling out of control is a higher priority than chasing the spoils of victory. Of course, I can't say there's nothing in it for me at all. But that's between Columbina and myself.
Forgive me. I don't mean to doubt you. We have our own way of doing things here in Nod-Krai. But
I know there's been a lot of bad blood between us in the past. I've done my utmost to avoid friction whenever I could. But sometimes fundamental conflicts of interest simply... That's why I'm here solely in a personal capacity. As a gesture of good faith, I'll be frank. I can help Columbina track down the iridescent moon's marrow, which will... Anyway, what else is on the agenda?
She says she'll be frank, then completely skips over the deep... But she clearly wants to change the subject. It'd be awkward if I tried to bring it up again now. I guess we'll just have to go along with it. She's the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers, after all. One look, and you can tell she's not someone you'd want to mess with.
Well, since Miss Arlecchino sounds confident in her ability to handle...
All right, listen up, everyone. First, we now know that Rerir was originally a Conrian secret agent whose primary mission was to hunt down and assassinate the so-called...
The dregs of the Crimson Moon.
Mm-hmm. In the memories, there was a lot of talk about the Crimson Moon and Eclipse, and a whole bunch of other stuff from the time of...
To my knowledge, those were the names of two different Conrian dynasties. Long, long ago, it is said that the people of Conria worshipped the Crimson Moon, drawing a mysterious power from its reflection. But one day, a coup saw the Crimson Moon eclipsed, hence the name of the new dynasty that replaced it, and how it became the new emblem of Conria.
Still, long after the Crimson Moon dynasty had fallen, the last ruler of the Eclipse dynasty, the Vinster King, still coveted the secrets it left behind. So, he sent the Rerir of Solnari to secretly hunt down the Crimson Moon's few remaining followers. In those days, Rerir showed no signs of madness. In fact, he was as normal as any other person. Oh, and he had a fiancé. Or at least, oh, what's the matter?
Verfnir, Freindaughter, Flinders.
Interesting. Anything else?
Well, she was a researcher at the Universitas.
Oh, and one more thing. For some reason, Rerir's friend...
Well, no shortage of potential leads, I'll give you that. In any case, it sounds like we can conclude that while Thelindis was still around, Thelindis, it seems, must have been the one thing in this world that he couldn't let go of. Tell me, though, were these pure-blood Conrians we're talking about here?
Why do you need to know that? Hold on. If she was a pure-blood Conrian... Oh yeah! Just like how it was with...
If we could somehow find her...
It's possible. But it would take him, that merchant who never knows.
All right, then. Let's Traveler, Paimon, Kutar, and Miss Arlecchino. As for the others...
On the way over here, I noticed that the wild... At this rate, The people living here will be in grave.
I'll head back to the curator.
Feels good knowing we've all got... Given that the Wild Hunt has been a lot more active lately, the Lightkeepers have likely I'll hold the fort for now. Then discuss our next move with Flints, Aino, and Anefa when they get back.
All right then.
Well, the clock's ticking. If that's everything, we'll be...
We'd better get moving too. We'll try to buy you as much time as we...
Relax. Just do your thing. Now, I decided to call in some backup since things are getting so hairy. Our reinforcements should be here any minute now. Stay safe, everyone. Dismissed.
We're back. Did we get here a little early? Or a little late?
A tad late. The others have already set off. To summarize, our resident moon goddess has found us a new ally, and Boss Nefer has uncovered some promising info. Everything going smoothly on your...
Not great. I don't know how long we can stall them for. I'm gonna make some more later, but I need a timeout first. I'm so tired right now. Oh, right! Anefa, could you fill it?
Sure. Uncle Varka, you previously told us about how when you went to investigate a source of... But according to Flint's intel, several outbreaks of the Wild Hunt had already... That was before Rerir had regained his body, when he was far from regaining his full strength. In other words, in theory at least, he still lacked the means to act in two places.
Flint's, with everything that's been happening, the Lightkeepers across Nod-Krai are rallying... I know, I'm sure you're capable of coming up with something far more effective than decoys. Anefa and I will head back over to Amsfartnir to see if there's anything
I told you Uncle Varka would say that, didn't I? A deal is a deal. Not a word about my snack intake for the...
Database updated. Reliability of Aino's predictions...
What is that? It's the obvious choice, isn't it?
We already decided that Anefa should go investigate the situation over at Amsfartnir on her own. Someone needs to hang back and oversee our strategy meetings. And besides,
So I've ended up with the easiest assignment. Well, I appreciate it, everyone.
Observe.
Here, this will serve as a good spot to cross over.
Arlecchino, hold up a second. Since you brought us all this, we still haven't got the slightest idea what's going on here. And if you...
Simple. Because I am an inheritor of the royal bloodline of the Crimson Moon. And one of the last surviving embers of the Two Worlds' flames.
Huh? Are you serious?
Your surprise is understandable. I was also taken aback when I first learned of it. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the signs had been... When I was young, I discovered I could wield a very special kind of fire. It coursed like blood through my veins and smoldered away inside my... What's more, whenever I experienced strong bursts of emotion or drew too deeply on this power, it was like some kind of presence within the fire would begin to gnaw away at me. Exactly. That is why my hands are like this, too. At first, I saw it only as a curse, but once I became a harbinger, the jester apprised me of the truth. Together with my own investigations, over the past few years, there are several things that I have gradually come to For instance, take the so-called Crimson Moon. In truth, it is nothing more than the shattered remnants of the iridescent moon, fused with the abyss to prolong its lifespan. Since this blood flame was bestowed upon me by the Crimson Moon, it is a fusion of the iridescent moon's former power and the corruption of... You all understand the nature of the abyss well enough. I draw upon its power, and in return, it hungers for my soul. This strange blackness is the mark of corruption it has left.
If I recall correctly, you once told me that if the corruption ever made it to your heart...
Yes. And that's the reason I'm always careful not to push my power too far.
Whew.
Anyway, the rest of my story can wait. Is there anything else about the Crimson Moon or the
Paimon has a question! So, the Crimson Moon that the Karians used to worship was actually the iridescent moon, right? Which was one of the three moon sisters. Does that mean that the Karians were to the Crimson Moon as the Frost Moon Scions are to the Frost Moon?
So much of that history has been lost. We have no way of knowing exactly what they were like. But I would suspect that the Conrians weren't as devout in their moon worship as it might appear. The iridescent moon's remains simply served as their link to the Abyss. Later on, perhaps someone discovered a way to make direct contact with the Abyss. Or maybe there was some kind of ideological divide. Either way, a dissenting faction staged a coup and drove out the royal heirs of the Crimson Moon dynasty. Still, even with the dark sun looming high overhead, the Crimson Moon's glow never truly faded. If you want living proof.
The first time we met, I sensed something familiar in your presence. When I looked at you, I felt I could see that mysterious red moon in the corner of my eye. In your flames, I saw its broken image, surrounded by a...
Well, I appreciate that you kept it to yourself. Much about the Crimson Moon is still a mystery, and I'd prefer not to end up as the object of an insane... Anyway, time is against us here, so if there's any other question... I just want to make sure I've got one thing straight. In her letter, Sandrone mentioned that since you are unable to contain the iridescent moon's marrow yourself, you intend to leave it in my custody. Correct?
That's right. For now, the iridescent moon is already part of who you are. So with its marrow in your possession, you'll...
Deal. Then let's get started.
Get what started?
When I first became a Harbinger, the Jester gave me a book called Paranhari, also known as Leobranto Inamorato. You should be able to buy a copy next time you're in Fontaine. It's a love story set in the Crimson Moon era, but setting aside the tangled romances of its characters. In the Crimson Moon era, or so the story goes, there was an orphanage that received children from beyond the bounds of this world. And
beyond the bounds of this world? For real?
The Crimson Moon Sages looked beyond this world for beings with powers that surpassed the gods. But fearing they might lose control, they subjected these children to a process of... They made these children crawl up a fireplace and kept asking them, "Have you died? Did you see it?" Until they finally admitted to having... The adults embraced the children who passed the ritual, telling them, "Within the fireplace, you have traversed the flames between two worlds. Here and now, you are born anew." The book leaves much unsaid, but I suspect that this was their way of branding the children they had enrolled, leaving an indelible mark upon them so that they would forever live in the...
That explains why I can't sense the Crimson Moon's marrow in this world. It makes sense that it would be sealed in a special space that can only be accessed temporarily through some...
But there's no fireplace here! Do you see a chimney anywhere? Oh, are we supposed to build it ourselves? Okay, fine. Paimon will go find some bricks.
That won't be necessary. The fireplace is purely symbolic. The key to the ritual is crossing the flames between two worlds. In other words, the flames that burn within me.